This video is for those who want to stand against the evils of Islam, and I want to encourage you, do not give up the fight. Too often those of us who stand against the death called Islam are branded racists. That's not the case for most of us. I know I'm not a racist. I love all races, but I do not love the death cult called Islam. We understand that Islam is based on the teachings of the Quran and the Hadith, as well as the life of Muhammad. Those of us who understand the evils of this horrible, horrible religion. We understand its history. We understand how it came about. We understand what it stands for. This is why we stand against it. Unfortunately, the liberal thinkers of this world don't seem to understand this, or they're choosing to ignore it, one of the two. Now, I want to make an obvious statement. It's going to be obvious to most of us, but not so obvious for the liberal thinkers of this world. And that's this. In my experience, when I've stood up against Islam, people inevitably start talking about the millions of peaceful Muslims around the world. Let's say they say things like, what about all the millions of peaceful Muslims around the world? You can't label all Muslims as potential terrorists. Well, that's correct. We can't. Because it's very obvious that not every one of them do want to do this. However, I just want to point out something. This statement that they make is called a redirect statement. And guess what? This redirect statement about Islam has actually been propagated by Muslims. Now, this redirect statement was designed by Muslims to take your attention away from what is the real issue. And before I get into what that one statement is, or that one issue is, I just want to point out something. That unfortunately, this redirect what about all the millions of peaceful Muslims around the world? You can't label all Muslims as potential terrorists. That redirect has been propagated by Muslims so much that the Western world has actually taken hold of it. Here's actually the one statement I want to point out, and I'll be pointing this statement out quite a bit during this little video. You can have good people in a very bad religion, or should I say, you can have very good people in a very bad religion. That does not take away from the fact that it is still a very bad religion. This can also be stated in reverse as well for those who say negative things about Christianity or Judaism. You can have very bad people in a very good religion. That does not take away from the fact that it's still a very good religion. Please, do not let the redirects take your attention away from this statement. And that is, you can have good people in a very bad religion. That does not take away from the fact that it is still a very bad religion. And let's face it, Islam is a very bad religion, especially if you base the religion on what it teaches in the Quran, the Hadith, and the life of Muhammad. And that's what all Muslims do. They base their teachings on these three things. And whether they want to admit it or not, they do. If you'd like to see just some of what is taught in the Quran and the Hadith, just even to see if what I say is right or wrong, then check out the verses of the Quran, verses of violence, or the link in this one here. I'll actually be providing a link below this video, and I'm going to hopefully you be able to find what I'm talking about and start reading. And you may or may not already know all this. And if you don't, it may open your eyes to the truth of how evil Islam really is. And these, by the way, are just a small snippet of some of the verses of violence in the Quran. And I'm talking just a small snippet because the Quran is full of violence all the way through. But anyway, that's all from me. Thank you for watching. My name is Joe, and I just want to thank you for listening to my rant. And I really hope that you take on board this one point before we go. You can have very good people. You can have very good people in a very bad religion. That does not take away from the fact that it's still a very bad religion. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.